Thank you, Angel and Heidi. Ho, everyone. We are here and we are ready to go. Wish the market was. It's still on a little bit of tenterhooks, one would think, given it has been most of the week. Perhaps and almost certainly they are waiting for news. We've got ECB press conference today, and of course, later in the day, we've got those CPI numbers coming out from the States, and the markets, well, seems to be just a little bit snoozy, does it not? A few things happening, and let's try and catch up on those if we can. I'll endeavour to go back to where I was yesterday and have a look at these ranges. We kind of got distracted, did we not? Let's go to the pound, though, of course, first up, and quite clearly we are in a range on the daily chart, no question. 4-hourly chart, no different. And we are at the bottom. So that does create potential opportunity if we were, for instance, to come up and test the daily pivot, come back off it, give us a higher low. That would necessitate me getting interested in or probably placing, actually, not getting interested, in placing an order long on pound US dollar. Preference, of course, would be if it had gone down to here, to this confluence area, and then came back in and gave us the higher low. Sorry, guys, just having a chat to Ash in the background there. Yeah, I'd much preferred it gone down to this confluence area, bounced off that, then came back and given us an opportunity. That still may well be the case. I'm certainly not ruling that out in any way. So that could be an opening for us. In terms of the 1 hour breakout trade, no, I don't think so, because we'd be looking to trade short here and we'd be looking to trade long here, given the 2-day range. And that doesn't leave us a hell of a lot of room to go anywhere, does it? If we were to trade, of course, today's range, we could place an order there long, but we're still going to place an order there short. It's not unthinkable, I suppose, in many ways. But that's not the system we're currently trading. But I will keep my eye on that. I'm not going to place the order, but I'll keep my eye on that and see if there was anything to gain from that. I'd probably be interested in trading to the daily pivot. Again, if we came down here, it'd be much better. But I may be interested in trading to the daily pivot if there's a setup there somewhere. Perhaps, and we're talking a little bit down the track from now, perhaps a false break here, something like that might get me interested. We shall see. Of course, the CPI figures coming out will have a lot to say about what the market does today. In fact, and tomorrow, what one would expect. So chances of me being terribly excited to trade anything that's got dollar in it are not good. G'day, Lewis. G'day, Paul P. So, highly unlikely I would trade anything with the dollar in it or the euro in it at the moment. But that said, there's potential setups on both of those, but I don't think I can be enticed into it. A couple of things that I am interested in, and those of you who aren't in the Telegram group are probably fortunate because you didn't get taken into our bad trade yesterday, which was Kiwi Cat on the 4-hour chart. We were trading this bar long. Got triggered in by the spreads, a bug of them. And the spreads had to be about 2.1 pips to take me in. I guess that's in line 24. I think that means 2.4. I guess that's probably in line with the norm. So I probably needed to get my entry a little bit higher than I did, although I thought it was 5 pips above. Let me check that. High of that can 87.20, and we went in at 87. I can't remember now. 87.23. Yeah, it wasn't enough, was it? I went 3 pips. Should have gone 4 or 5. Anyway, it is what it is. Can't change it. Those of you, as I said, who aren't in Kiwi Cat and Pound, yes, Lewis, I think that's the way to go, mate. Absolutely. I think that's the way to go. Steer clear of the dollar and the euro at the moment. So I'm back in exactly the same position. And what we saw yesterday, we see again today on the 4-hour chart. Do I want to trade it on the 4-hour chart? Answer no, because we'll be trading straight into the pivots again. So that's why my entry is above the daily bar. And I might just check how many pips I've gone above the daily bar, see if I don't do the same mistake twice. 87.21, say, and I've got 87.24. Okay, so the spreads are not going to take me in if we get an equal high, and that's what we want. That's actually a good lesson. And I must admit, I didn't check what the spreads were when I did place that order yesterday. And had I done so, it wouldn't have created that 0.25% loss. And I've gone in again at 0.25% on this one because that's all it warrants. We're trading into the monthly pivot, but there's a room for profit there before the monthly pivot. So that really is the only order that I want to place. If I was trading the dollar, I would be looking at dollar Swissy. Why? Well, because it's just snuck below this low here and developed a nice little hammer sitting on a support level. That's why. But I hasten to add that I'm not, because the market could do anything pre the news. And of course, we don't know what the news will be. So you would expect that price will not be behaving. Well, it may, but you would expect that it's going to behave a little bit differently to what the technical setup is. And that's why I don't want to trade. Another one, well, another two really, Euro Aussie, and we've still got an order on Euro Aussie. I replaced that, or it didn't expire, one of the two. I didn't place it this morning, that's for sure. Oh, I placed it on Monday. That's right, Monday. I think that's probably far enough away from entry. Far enough away from price to actually keep it there. Euro Aussie. Yeah, I'm actually going to leave that one in. Again, it's only small risk, only 0.25%. So I am going to leave that one in the market. Why? Well, because this one really is counterintuitive. And that's why I like it. By all intents and purposes, this would go. And we said, if you wanted to trade that, the weekly pivot, then that would be perfectly acceptable. But, well, I did measure it at the time and I thought, no, it's not for me. So you'd have to enter about there, stop loss about there, 75 pips, and you've only got 20, so it didn't, or 18 or something like that. So it didn't measure up to my criteria, which was 1/3 of the risk, and therefore no. So let's get away from, although I wanted Euro Kiwi as well, didn't I? I think Euro Kiwi was good if we got a daily pivot retest here. But no, I'm staying away, not doing it. Aussie CAD. Now, Aussie CAD's at the top of that range, come back inside, but then is it going to the top of that? Yeah, no, too hard, just the too hard basket. Kiwi yen, that's a potential. Got a bit of a break here. That's the daily. That's a bit interesting. I would much prefer, in fact, I'm not going to trade this short as an ABC, but rather you could do that tomorrow if you got the right scenario. But today, I'd be looking for a false break here. Perfect scenario for a false break. Got the break underneath the bar. You've got consolidation underneath the pivot, a break above the pivot, and a retest of the confluence. That would get me long. It would also be a break and retest of that trend line that you can't see. You could start that just about anywhere you wanted, really. But it's going through there, let's say. No, let's say there.
I do have a trade, mate, if you want one.
G'day, bud.
Yep. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. It is a FTSE long, and we're not really after sort of too much in the way of the long, but you might everybody might even get a slightly better price than me. But I'll see if I can give you these levels. In fact, you will get a better price than me if you get in now. I've gone a little bit too high, I think, but we might be okay. Doesn't look strong by any stretch. We got this ECB meeting later on. We got lots of little bits and pieces going on as well today, so it may not be the best trade. But here it is, FTSE long. As I say, I'm only aiming for 71.05. I'm not aiming for a lot here. There is a pivot that everybody might want to wait on, which is just down here. So definitely a better trade, but I quite like it, and it really just depends on sort of how everybody would see the structure. This isn't a bad spot to take the trade here, and as I say, you're only aiming for a little bit, so you might want to just put a stop down here at 70.61. And which would be around about 20 pips, but you're aiming for about 25. So entry here is good. A stop down here at 70.61, and a take profit at 71.05. Sorry to cut you up there, mate, but
no problem at all, mate.
Thought we better get it out there.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just take it back for a bit, and then we'll come and and have a little chat about whatever's going on today. And of course, it is quiz day.
It is, yeah. Have we got John in?
I don't think he's in yet. He's probably shaping the questions or doing his wonderful presentation that he does. Music. Oh, he's in. Yeah, music. Awesome. 50s music, right? 60s, 70s. Cool. I don't know if he's going to agree with that or not. Dollar Swissy. I was just speaking about Dollar Swissy before you came into the room, and it does look potentially long bound. However, as I said at the time, we are in the midst, or we're in pre, if you like, dollar news, and pretty strong dollar news. Lovely little double bottom there, I grant you that. Nice little hammer sitting there as well, grant you that, at a support level. And if you want to take the risk of trading prior to the news, then wouldn't be bad if you got in, say you got to the weekly pivot and got safe in the market before the news. That'd be pretty cool. And if it is good news for the dollar, you might get a nice little ride. I'm not advocating going into the market with the dollar in anything at the moment, so nor the euro until the meeting is over, on both counts. So for me, it's a no, but I totally see where you're coming from, and I think there's huge potential there if you want to take that added risk into it. I don't even think I would get it if I if I got a higher low here. I don't think I'd even I won't even trade it, because I've said I'm not going to, so I won't. But there's a clear potential for this to go long. I 100% agree with you. As far as anything else,
I've got to say I'm with that completely. And we have been watching the dollar, haven't we, mate, since the start of the week. And it's shaping for a long, but evidently that news is going to be pivotal later on. Bond yields were significantly lower though on reports this morning, so I don't know whether that might be some kind of key of the anticipation of what this print is either going to be or actually going to do to the to driving the market. I'm not sure whether the market's going to be that bothered about it or not at this stage.
Yeah, look, good question, isn't it? I had no idea. If I was trading technically today, there are a few setups I would like to take that do have the euro and do have the dollar in them. But because I've just blanket said, no, I don't want to know about it. I could, you can see yourself I can see myself, because Thursday is a day where generally I'm inundated by potential. And I'm not sure why that is, but it seems to be the case most often. And if I put 2 or 3 positions in the market that are dollar or euro centric, I could be chasing my tail all day and get into some horrible positions that I don't want to be in. So for that reason, I'm okay. H4 euro yen. Let's have a look at it. Euro yen. Where are you? I haven't got a euro yen chart. Well, let's fix that. Okay, H4. There we go. You're looking for a short. You're already in short. Like it. trading that bar potentially, you'd already be in and you'd already be underway and you'd already be probably taking profit, I would imagine, at that level. Awesome. Well done. Perfect. In fact, now what I would say is you're in a really strong position for the news, especially against the yen. You could get a good ride on this, Lewis. My counsel would be make yourself safe before the news. That's all. Or reduce your risk.
Lewis, is Euro yen short, is he? Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, looks nice. Wish I were in it with you, bud. That'd be good. I mean, we're doing okay, though. We're in the other fella. We're in Euro Swissy. And Euro Swissy is also looking very good. Our target
was that
is
the trade
here.
at the start of the week? It was, wasn't it?
Was
that the one we were talking about when we were sort of saying that we were going to bring in technicals versus fundamentals?
No. We went Kiwi Swissy long, which hasn't even got warm yet.
Okay.
We're trading this bar here,
okay,
which really doesn't look like triggering, but anything can happen today, and that's for sure. So actually, Euro Swissy. Well, we've taken first profit. We're safe in them. In fact, I've got my stops and entry. So this can only be a winner, and I won't do anything now until we get to here, which is, as I said, what, 108.65-ish. And then I will probably close the trade because that's a very strong level sitting there. I'll probably just get out at that point. Maybe look to get back in if we get back to there. If it goes through, it goes through. But that's what I'll be looking to. In fact, I'd be happy to trade that in that direction if we do get a reversal signal. For sure. The others, Kiwi CAD, I spoke about that. We got done on that yesterday on the 4-hour chart, but we look to the daily chart today, and I think if this is to go at all, today could well be the day for that. We shall see. The CAD's a problem to trade against at the moment because it's probably the strongest currency on the board, and it's very, very tough to trade against. But technically, I can see it. And if oil were to come off, that would help. But oil doesn't look like it's coming off. Or I haven't had a look at it today. What's it look like? Oh, it is coming off a bit. Okay, I'd like to see a lower high here. So, yeah, it's not impossible. That's for sure. I'll stick with that, the Kiwi CAD, and see how we go. Beautiful double bottom, potential for an equal shoulder, if you like. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. You've got to take profit before the monthly pivot, though. Everything else, euro dollar. I'm going to be keen to trade this tomorrow because if there's any sign of dollar strength, I'm very keen to get into this short. And this even goes back to here where we've been speaking. I thought I actually placed that order, but I didn't. That there. That's a very clear false break on the monthly chart. And I'm very, very keen to see price get down to here and then go down to here. So if that news tomorrow or overnight for me is going to be dollar positive, then I'm going to jump on this sometime tomorrow. If it doesn't go on down to here, of course. I don't think it'll go that far. The reaction shouldn't be that strong, but it may well be a trendsetter, this thing today or overnight. In particular, euro dollar, because we've got two things going, right? We've got the ECB and we've got the CPI on the dollar. Now, this is interesting, but look at this chart. Look at the tails. There's more tails than bodies on here, I think. Very, very difficult to get any follow through on that.
Oh, yeah, there is, yeah. More tails than Battersea Dog's home, mate.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll have to steer clear of that.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, that one. Yeah. Yeah. The euro yen. Sorry, the Aussie yen. It just. I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? That when this breaks out, it's going to go hard because
mm,
it's been in
mm.
this range for a long time, and those tails suggest that there is attempts to get going, but it's not been able to do that yet. So yeah, as I say, when it goes, it's probably going to go pretty hard.
Are you still in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still holding on with that one.
Look at the daily chart. Doji, 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 doji. Incredible.
Yeah. 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 It's
Yeah, I can find a way in there actually. Where did I get in? Oh, I traded this bar, didn't I? I'd still be in that if I'd not taken profit, I suppose. But I'm pretty happy to be out. 49. Yeah. Forget. I mean, it's mucking around. Let me see. Stops are there. 60 pips gets us not quite 20. We could stretch it to 20. Um, no, no. 4 days have gone by. I'm leaving it alone. The last one I will look at is Aussie Kiwi. Now, Aussie Kiwi, let's come right back into this range. Mm. What's wrong with the Kiwi?
that I don't know.
Maybe I should have asked that question before I traded Kiwi CAD.
Hmm.
Untested weekly pivot. It's a daily been tested. Yeah, not really. Okay. Keep an eye on that. Aussie Kiwi for short, but not until it shows me something. It's got to get up here and get back underneath, retest the daily pivot, things like that. That's what I'll be looking for. Nice little shoulder effect here and maybe a head. So the short may not give us much, but it may get down to here somewhere towards the week. It might get to the weekly pivot. I'll be looking for that anyway later in the day. And that is pretty much it, mate. Everything's euro or dollar centric. So I'm really not considering that. Oh, pound Kiwi, let me have a look. Pound Kiwi, you were considering a short, but it seems too late. Yes, yes. On the smaller time frames, I would agree with you. On the bigger time frames, the daily, bit mixed, isn't it? Yeah, I think my directional bias is still long this thing. And I wonder if we'll ever get triggered into that monthly. Maybe. No, I'm still a bull, but yeah, shorter time frames, obviously they're going south in a hurry. But they've now found the weekly pivot. I think you're too late. I think you're right on that one. Most frustrating trade I'm holding on to Kiwi CAD re-entry this morning, H1, low test bar. Pound yen short too. My goodness. Kiwi CAD. Yeah, Kiwi CAD was a bugger. Shouldn't have got triggered into that. H1 on a low test bar. H4 had a low test bar, I remember, but I didn't look at H1 because I don't trade H1 at that time of day. Where is the bloody thing? Here. No, that's Kiwi Swiss. Sorry, Kiwi CAD we're looking for, aren't we? H1. On this thing, the last candle of the day, or is it the first candle of the day? Probably the first candle of the day. You brave people trading hourly bars at that time of day. Anyway, hopefully you've taken some profit and you're going for it. Just did a lower high on H4. Pound Kiwi, or Kiwi CAD. Must be pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi. Lower high on H4. Yeah, it's kind of a range, really, isn't it, in there? I suppose bigger overall picture is a lower high on a daily, maybe. I'm not ready to trade it short. Not yet. Not for me. So that's where I'm at, right? You wake up early and try my luck. Okay. Why not? Why not? So I'm done, mate. That's pretty much me.
Okay, mate, no problem at all. I'm just dealing with this trade. 1 second. There's that one. That should be that. I'll calculate that in a moment. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of waiting to do for me. So I just had to deal with one thing there, but that should be all right now. Should we go straight to the quiz? I think we could go straight to the quiz because the thing is, we are waiting for CPIs later on, and that's going to be the big driver for the day. So there's really no point in us getting caught into too much. I wouldn't have thought at this stage.
Well, we're really just going to say we're going to wait.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times are you going to say that? But more than happy to have a chat with you guys if you've got something you want to chat about. So over to you, basically, after the quiz.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Let's do it that way. Let's deal with stuff here. How you doing, John? Oh, you muted, mate. You need to let me see if I can do that for you.
Unmute. Oh,
there you go. How's things going, mate? You all right?
It's all right. Everything's in the market. Let's see if I'm going to be like this or like that later on.
What's
I've got some a long in gold, a long in silver. I've had it for quite a while, and I've got a long US CAD that I've had for 4 or 5 days. But low risk, so yeah. I thought I'd in.
You still in Aussie Swissy?
I took my profit yesterday.
Very good.
That's yeah. It's it wasn't a lot, but it was, for me. It was in that range, and it was just going along, and I thought, okay, it's not really going to do much more for me, but it was good because that was one I picked on my own with no help anywhere else.
Oh, yes, mate. Yeah, I remember that trade. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, no help from Paul on the daily way. No help from you guys. It was one where I went, right, okay, let's back what I think it will be.
You liked the look of it. That's really good, mate. That is really good.
Yeah, normally I don't deal with the Swiss franc at all. I just I find it very difficult to deal with as a currency.
Yeah.
How do I do my share screen? Continue.
You should have a control panel that says new share or something like that. There you go.
Bang.
Whoa, kind of. Beautiful.
I'm distracted this morning because I'm in this trade which has got no or very little volatility, so I'm getting no follow through at all. So I've got to make some choices, but I will also be part of this quiz. So bear with me.
Hey, that's cool. All right, there they are. Oh, now how do you get that at the same time? How do you get your?
What? Get what?
I got it. Yeah, no, I got it. I got my chat box. It's just Zoom. I'm sure that Zoom was put together by MI5. It's just like they like to hide everything.
Yeah, mate. It is at times. I think it's a terribly, it's a terrible system, really.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 1. Which countries make up the G7? The G7 are meeting in this week. They've had their pre-meetings. I was quite surprised actually at what was in the actual list.
Good question. Oh, got to try and remember
It's
these.
not a
now.
straight. It's not. It's interesting. I ran it past my wife, and it's not a straightforward list.
No, it's not. You're absolutely right.
There are two big players missing. There is no there is no Russia, and there is no China.
There we go.
Oh, you prick. I mean, bugger.
Oh, there's it. Oh, yes. Oh, bounces back. Sweet is. Hey, we've got some people we should be definitely taking to the casino.
I've only got 6. Oh, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I'd forgotten Italy. I didn't get my
I was stunned that Italy actually were there. Maybe they're there, to bring the wine. I don't know, in the pizzas. I was really surprised.
Well, they need somebody to do that, to be fair.
No
Yeah.
disrespect to the Italians. They just didn't. I've been there only once on holiday for a friend's wedding. It didn't strike me as a powerhouse economy.
What, Italy?
No. I mean,
No, I suppose it's all about when it was set up, isn't it?
it is.
With,
Okay. El Salvador became the first country to adopt what this week?
Oh, well, we know that.
Yep. Oh, everybody's on the money on this one. Or not, as the case may be. Question number 3. There might be another reason Big Jeff B wants to get into his rocket and leave. What might that be?
He wants to get into his big rocket. Oh gosh.
Well, he's planning to take his brother on the first trip of his space rocket. However, there might be another reason why he wants to get into that rocket and leave.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Jeff's got it. Jeff's got it.
Very good, mate. Very good.
Jeff has got that one. Yeah, Lewis has got it.
Pure guess, mate. Pure guess.
Well done.
Yeah,
do you know what? I was way off there. I was thinking about his wife. Is he another one who split from his wife recently?
I'm sure that those sort of things he would say that they hurt him more, but I think this is going to hurt him more.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Pay your tax. We mostly use 8 currencies in Forex trading. Can you name them?
Oh.
Be mostly 8 currencies in Forex.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. I wasn't quite sure how to word this. When we're doing majors and minors, no exotics. So, sorry, folks, if you live in Singapore, you can't.
So do you mean pairs?
No, just the currencies, not the pairs. The currencies that make up the pairs, we use, as far as I can work out, 8. I hope I've got this right. If I haven't got this one right, then yeah, Alexis is off with everybody's savings to the casino. Put it all on red. Right. Okay. Oh yes, yeah. Come back in there. Yes, that one is there as well. There we are. However, can you recognize the national anthem for each currency we use? You will hear the national anthem of each currency played once.
Oh, this is good, mate.
And then you need to write down your answer as to what you're hearing. And no comments on the actual playing itself, please. The musician who's trying his best. There is the list of currencies there. That isn't the list that they're necessarily going to be played. That's not the order. That just gives you a little bit of assistance.
What about the EU, mate? Has that got its own anthem?
It has.
Okay,
Yes, it is
okay.
there. It's in the list. Yeah, the European Union has got its own anthem. Strangely
Okay.
enough, I always ask that question, and I'm not going to ask it yet because somebody might be a bit geeky like me and know it.
Brilliant.
Maybe by process of elimination. That's about all.
It is. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm what would you call? I'm a European, so you can imagine that I wasn't very happy once we left, because that spoilt my plans of living in the south of France. Because if you live there now, you're going to be open to a lot of taxes. Okay, we're going to start off with a really easy one. I think it's an easy one. I hope so.
Okay. Oh, you'll be playing the Super Bowl, mate.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll let everybody into a little. See, I was going to get a photograph, but I can't find it. I used to be in the Welsh Guards band in the 1980s.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I know
with
it
the
look it, but I was in the military. Yes, I was a woodland player in the Guards. I'll dig a photograph
amazing,
out.
mate.
Yeah,
That
I'll dig a
is a
photograph
fun
out.
fact.
That's why I know some of this stuff.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
So you didn't have your hand on your heart, but you're excused. You were using both of them.
Yes, not for the Americans. No way.
It would have been impressive if you'd had your hand on your heart and you were still playing
Very,
the saxophone.
yeah.
Well, no, fun fact on this one. I can't remember which one. First Bush, yeah. I was going to use bad language there. We were waiting for that guy at the Foreign Office, and it was just chanking it down. It just was late. We were all soaked, completely soaked. Trying to dry a bedding out is not fun. We had to wait for him. It was just unreal. They wouldn't let us move. Here we go.
Aussie. Oi.
Very
That's
good.
the Aussie. I thought your theme tune was Waltz and Matilda.
No way.
It should be, but
okay.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, the land down under.
It should have been that.
There is yes. Most people. I think that everybody will get these national anthems, and everybody should probably work out why. I think. Okay. Number 3.
no bloody idea.
No, I put Switzerland.
No. Yes, Paul, it does. It sounds Japanese. I thought a few people got that. It's Japan. I played it a little bit quick, Ash. That's probably why I didn't get it.
That'd be the reason.
Yeah. I don't know any of these now.
Okay. Strangely enough, I'm going to play. The next one I'm going to play is I've never played this in my job in the military. This is one national anthem I never played. So
I know what it'll be.
It either shows how many times I went there, or how many times they came to us.
Oh.
Well done. It's actually one of the best national anthems you'll ever hear.
It's very jolly.
It's very solemn,
yes.
actually.
Oh, it started jolly.
Everything improved after the national anthem improved. The UK one. Fun fact on that one, if you want to, I'll bore everybody stupid. The reason the national anthem, we play it in the key of G. It's just a set of notes we have to play. At it was a famous Jubilee, Queen Victoria. All the British bands from the British Empire, most of them, they gathered in London. Nobody checked that they were all playing in the same key.
Oh.
This is part of military history. They all struck up in a different key. It was, and after that, the Military School of Music was born.
Oh, right. That is a good fact.
It is. It
sounded like Day in the Life.
It was pretty bad, apparently. Okay, try this one.
Switzerland?
Correct.
I had to go there. It couldn't be anything else.
Yeah. If you're into this sort of stuff, that sounds slightly Prussianistic. I'll call it Prussianistic, or Germanic, or So you might have got like that, or you might be spending a lot of time in Switzerland.
No, do you know what? Yeah, it was kind of. It seemed to match the country, that one.
Yeah, I agree. I could hear German in there.
Okay. Jeff's got. He likes the New Zealand national anthem. For me, this is one of my favourites.
Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Didn't recognise it, but yeah.
There are only two left. Now, obviously, one of them is going to be fairly straightforward to get.
Yeah, the Untied Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yes, the disunited kingdom of.
I tell you, I mean that might actually be end up being quite apt in the next 5 years.
Yes, so loose.
Yes,
broken the shackles.
Who picks what? I think Scotland might go for.
Oh, that's got to be the.
They got Flower of Scotland as well, haven't they?
Oh.
However, we're going to go with the next one. This is a national anthem. Extra points if you can tell me who wrote it.
Oh gosh.
I should know.
Is it
Should know who
Brahms?
wrote it.
That is the national anthem, obviously, of the European Union. Beethoven wrote that one.
Oh, Beethoven.
Beethoven.
Okay.
So Germany might have lost the
Ode,
power.
Ode to Joy. Ode to Joy. Is that
Yes,
right,
it is. Ode to
John?
Joy, Jeff, yeah.
Yeah.
But Germany slipped in with, okay, we'll lose our currency, but we'll take the national anthem. Everybody used to get that one wrong. The next one, Winston Churchill. Yeah, not my favorite character. Mozart. No, Mozart. No. Okay, the last one then. Should I play it, or Ash might get upset?
No, I wouldn't.
There you go.
Good old Lilybet, eh?
Well done,
Yeah.
mate. Well done. Beautifully played.
Yeah, awesome. Good job.
Beautifully
I
played. I mean,
purposely picked stuff that couldn't get me cut. We can't be done for copyright.
well, yeah, this is the thing. Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely. This is the thing, and it's a bit of a shame because I kind of wouldn't mind a proper music round where you play a bit of Eminem and stuff like that on the sax. I mean, that'd be really cool if we have a guess that tune. Maybe we can get away with that. I don't know. I don't know how obscure you're allowed to be.
I don't know. I used to teach music law in my last school and copyright. Most parts of like if you play the American national anthem once part through, you're okay.
Oh,
You can't play it all the way through. I'm not play. If you play arrangements, somebody might copyright those, but these aren't arrangements. They're single lines,
okay.
so
Yeah,
I'll just wait for you to get the letter first.
yeah. Well, should we throw it to the floor, Jeff, and sort of and see if anybody wants to chat about anything specific? I think because we are waiting on things, that footsie trade, I am probably going to close it out at break even pretty soon because it doesn't look at this stage like it is the nice volatile move that I want. And it's not that I don't necessarily think it could go higher because it still looks good for some upside. But it's just there's just no volatility. So we are back where we opened, which is why I can close at break even pretty much. So I don't know whether we're going to get much more movement until the US session. So therefore,
Well, you will on the euro.
Oh, we will on the euro. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, because we've got ECB later, haven't we? Okay, so aside from that, though, I don't know if there's anything else. I see the Aussie yen is just come off a little bit. Actually, it's got to get some real movement. It's a coiled spring. I think that's the thing about today, and I think
there's quite a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's. I think we're going to get volatility, but I wonder whether we're going to get follow through, and that's going to be the key, because you might get a pickup in volatility before that CPI print is out, or even before the ECB. After the ECB, it's going to depend on whether Christine Lagarde says anything that interests the market. It's going to be dependent on whether that CPI data is extreme enough to kind of warrant some concern. So I think we're relatively frozen here in time. So if anybody's got anything else that they want to throw in and talk about, then feel free to do so. You included, John. If there's anything you can think of that we should maybe go over or cover, then we will do.
I've got one.
Yeah.
This is just from me learning from you two, when you crunch all the data down and you go back in time to look, I squeezed down silver onto the monthly chart and went back as far as as far as the data allowed me to go.
Yeah.
Back now, if you go back to like October 2012, the market came down, and now we're back up to where it was. It's like an area just below 28 and above, just around there. And it seems like we're back in a zone where we might go higher. I got a really geeky question to ask, and this is to do with Basel 3. This is
okay.
where gold and silver is going to get its hands smacked at the end of the month, maybe.
Okay.
It's to do with banks, bullion banks, not being able to. I'm not sure what it is. It's to do with them not being able to. I wouldn't say manipulate the market because I don't like that word. They're making their money, but it's to do with there not being enough physical gold and silver, and they're just paper trading it instead. So if everybody called it in, it's not there. It's to do with that.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So what you think that's going to
the reason I've got my long in on silver and gold is I think that at the end of this month I might be completely wrong, like anything else, that it might rise because they're not allowed. They won't be able to control the price. This is London. I think they get till the end of the year, but it's way out of my league because Alexis is in the room.
Look, I'm hopeless, mate, on both those products. I've got gold as a buy on my charts technically, and I've got silver as a big sell on my charts.
Yeah.
So I can't help you.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few people out there calling for substantially higher prices, and the prices of both gold and silver have been manipulated for quite a while. And I suppose if the inflation story does manifest and pick itself up, then we probably would see gold and silver start to rise. But I'm with you in a way that it's a really difficult one to call because I've heard certain speculators say the same thing on gold and silver for so many years now, and it really hasn't kind of gone anywhere. It's still kind of struggling to get started in some respects. It's certainly not the prices that they're talking about. I mean, I've also got some gold and silver, and I will wait for it, but as a longer term play, really. I mean, I think with silver, there's a potential for it to go to double its price. I think it could go to $50 an ounce without too many problems. When that happens, I don't know, but gold and silver have always been a safe pair of hands. That's the one thing about it that I like personally, is that if you've got other things in your portfolio that are speculative, i.e. cryptocurrencies or stocks, then to have some gold and silver in there just to kind of hedge out a bit of risk, I think is always worth it. And you know, the world's a risky place, and we keep getting reminded of that every so often. So that's my personal take on it. But that's different to trading it. You know, if we're talking about trading it, then I'm kind of with Jeff on looking at where silver currently is right now. I think it's had a decent run to the upside, and it needs something to kind of take it off. But you may well have the catalyst. You know, you might be right on the end of the month thing. I don't know anything about that, to be honest. So I might have to go and read up on that. But it sounds interesting. It sounds like an interesting and you know, certainly a big potential.
I might have got it wrong. So I came up from 24, I think.
Yeah, look, as I said, for me it's a sell, but I know nothing about silver or gold, so I'm just looking at the chart, mate. That's all.
Yeah, they're interesting. Both interesting commodities. I think that having them is useful, but Ainsley trades gold very, 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 very well, and I still think gold's probably, you know, could come back to give us an inverted head and shoulders to give us a technical reason to go long. But what you're talking about is something different in a way. You know, you're talking about something fundamental, a fundamental driver. which sounds fascinating, but I don't know. I know nothing about that, and I'm going to have to look a bit more deeply into it.
Yeah, it is. All I know about it is what I've read is that London gets an extension until after Christmas, so it only affects the European one. But
Yeah.
It'd be interesting because you can pick up the vibe better than me because you guys have done it for longer. I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I haven't done it at all, mate. As I said, I'm just looking at the chart. You'd have to go higher up the tree than me.
Then the other question is, how long have you traded completely, Ash? How many years you've been trading?
I started. I think I got my first exposure to trading about maybe between 15, 16 years ago. But that was just an exposure to what it was. You know, I'd never heard of it sort of 15, 16, maybe even 17 years ago. But that was the first time that somebody said to me, have you heard you can do this? I've known about, I invested in stocks longer than that, you know, so maybe 20, 30 years ago, maybe, I don't know, but I invested in Vodafone. I bought Vodafone. But I can't call that any kind of knowledge. I mean, it was just kind of like I watched this program about investing and I thought, that looks quite interesting. So I bought Vodafone. But I was so young, I had no idea about finances whatsoever. But trading, I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because when you ask somebody how long they've been trading, they sort of talk about the time that they first pulled the trigger. But I couldn't really call that real trading. I mean, even when you started, you had a better education than I did. So you could probably genuinely say I started trading from the day that I went on a course and learnt it. But I didn't.
Yeah,
you know, my first.
I keep asking you the questions is then I get okay. I've been doing it this long. They've been doing it that long. Give it some time, and you know you'll gradually get better because it's like Jeff said. Sometimes when people are talking, they'll say something, and you go, "All right," and the person saying it, they won't even know that they've said it.
No.
It triggers the thing inside you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what's great about the show. I listen to you guys talk and giving it. Oh, all right, yeah, thanks. I'll write that down.
Do you have your process, John? Because that's the biggest thing. It's not, still it's
not
about
process. I find the process the hardest thing. To be fair.
Yeah, and that's the key. If you get the process right, everything else falls into place. And that that's the only thing that you should ever really focus on. It just the process.
I'm up at 6.
Yep.
I go through all the daily wave rider things first, and I will pick what I think are the best 3, and I'm trying to, and I will see if number 1 is what PH will pick. Once I've got that, I'll get a cup of coffee. I'll get Jeff's video. I'll go through that and go through these things there.
Do I ever agree with the daily write with Paul, with PH?
Yeah, sometimes the things I like it when Wave Rider's going that way and you're going the way. I love it when it does that. I go, oh.
No, what do I do?
Well, no, I what I do is I do the Wave Rider first, bang, and I do it. I go through that and I've done it, and then I put the Wave Rider in a little box over there, and then I go over here, and then I'm doing what you do, and after 14 months now, it's separate. It's completely separate over there.
It needs to be.
And over here, it's not.
Cool.
I go through that, and then I look at the 100 and 500 just out of curiosity, and then I go and look to see what happened overnight with the euro and the dollar, the pound and the Aussie, and the pound and the US dollar, and I wait for what is 9 o'clock my time for the action to start for a couple of hours. It's on in the background, but I'm practicing, and then I don't do anything until later on.
And what writing do you do, mate?
I take 2 screenshots. I take a screenshot over here of there, and on there I write down what the cause of the entry was. Was it a
Brilliant.
bounce off the A? And on here, say if like I've got Jeff's screen at the minute, and Jeff will write up these bits. If it looks like it's complicated, I'm pretty good with computers. I'll just get in a quick screen recording, and then I'll write down the information on the screenshot and keep it. And then if it goes right or wrong, I'll put the profit or not.
You see, this is where this is something that you know, as I say, like, you know, noting back how long I've been trading doesn't really kind of give you the information, because what the point that I realized, the kind of relationship with maths was actually relatively recently, and even though I could I've been being able to trade for quite a while. This is what I'm talking about with the process. If we accept that this is very mathematical, then putting down the correct equation is key. Asking yourself the right questions in your equation and in your spreadsheet is key, because then you can churn out the correct answer. There's no doubt that that some of this is intuitive. You know, that what you gain with experience is intuition. But what you don't need when you is any of that stuff when you start. And I think maybe that's some of the problem, is that people kind of attempt to mirror what you're doing, but it's almost impossible because of the intuitive skills that you've acquired over time. But what people can mirror and everybody can do is just the mathematical process of making sure that they are noting things down and churning out at the end of each month information which says, that's interesting. That's looking at a daily wave rider bounce off of the 15 EMA seems to churn out a much better percentage at 9 o'clock than it does at 10 o'clock, for example. And I think if we can get that bit right, as traders, we are 90% of the way there. And then the intuition is almost one of those things that you never need to acquire.
Yeah, no, look, very true. I agree.
It's just the amount of time that you've been doing it.
But you can't help but gain the intuition if you spend enough time at it.
Absolutely.
You'll look at a chart and oh shit, I've seen that before. When did it make any money? Those sorts of they go through your mind rather than going to the journal. And it becomes semi-automatic. Really does.
Yeah, it does, mate. And
because this has taken me 20 odd years to get to grips with.
Yes.
Now it's intuition. I don't have to worry about it. Somebody says, how do you play it? I give it, you've got to do this, you've got to do it. But you can't describe everything.
Yes, yeah.
And then if somebody, I think my wife said, why can't you just sit and watch them trade? I'm giving it. The chances of me sitting and watching them trade live in a room are remote. But if I start asking them questions, then they're not trading. Does that make sense? If I start asking you questions, you're not trading. But the other aspect of it, I suppose, is that Jeff and I will both see something different on the chart that interests us, to kind of to encourage us to do something and to interact with the market, and we could be looking at the same chart, and even though that is, those triggers might be something that you learn, you still don't necessarily know when's the best time to do it. What's the best particular bounce point or signal, because there'll be a number of them that are being used, but as I say, kind of back to the process, you can definitely get good at that. And that's what I'd really encourage you to do, is just get really good at the process, get really good at analyzing what it is that you're doing on a spreadsheet. Because if you can analyze what you're doing, then the result becomes just something that happens. The positive result becomes something that just happens. And we do it throughout our lives where we focus too much on the result. But if you think about the saxophone, you must now look back and go, do you know what? If I'd, for example, like taken a Beethoven piece and started out by noting down how many bars the thing has,
Then I go down to sort of like, okay, well, within the whole piece, how many sections are there? Okay, and then I'll go down and go, okay, well, what chord is he playing during these sections here? Oh, there's a little pattern going on here. And then you break down the notes within the chord. That long, laborious process probably saves you 6 months of learning the piece because all of a sudden you understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's the same with trading, you know, it's the same with trading. Can you get
It's the same
down
with
and
anything,
go,
mate.
it's the same with anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you understand the reason and the methodology, you've got very little chance of actually doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, for me, and I'm not sure if it's a right brain thinker or a left brain thinker. I think it's a left brain thinker who actually needs, you can say 100,000 times to me, and this comes from school. You can say 100,000 times that X equals Y over blah, 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 blah. But if I don't understand why that's the case, I'm not going to get it. You can, as I say, you can say it 100 times and I won't get it. But once I understand how that came to be, then it makes sense. Then I can do it. And I'm not sure that that's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
No, it is. Yeah, definitely.
Well, they do. That's the thing. When you sort of take a maths exam, that is the same aspect as well, isn't it? They are much more interested. The examiner is much more interested in how you got to the because if you got the wrong answer, but they see that you understand the process, they know 9 times out of 10 you're going to get the right answer because you get the process. If we take trades off the back of thinking about what somebody else might do in that situation, we're probably going to be wrong 50% of the time, if not more. So understanding what we're doing is really, really important. And
which, funnily enough, if you're wrong 50% of the time in this game, if you manage it right, you can win shitloads of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah, absolutely. So. So yeah, we got to ask ourselves the correct questions. And the reason I'm coming back to this, John, is that I would really encourage you to get a spreadsheet going and figure out what needs to go in each column.
Yeah, I've got. I'll show you my spreadsheet then.
Oh, cool.
I'll put it up next week if people want to see it.
Oh, that'd be great, mate. Yeah, and are you getting information out of it?
Do I get information out of it? Yeah, I do. Yeah. What's the information that I've got out of it so far? Is that if I'd stuck with actually going from my wave rider trades, kept going all the way through, not being arbitrarily, I'll take this one, I won't take that one, I would be better off now.
Wow, that is a really interesting thing to know.
If I had done that, I'd be better off. Instead of, if I'd lost 2 or 3 in a row, I'll give it, I'm not taking that. I'm not, this is my love of, or hate affair with the Swiss franc. I got hit a couple of times with that. I'm going to, I'm not doing that again. You manipulating doodles. And then lo and behold, the trade works and giving it, okay. So then I beat myself at the street.
Do you know what?
Now, sorry?
Go on, Jeff. You were going to go.
All right. Yeah, that should come as absolutely no surprise, and it certainly doesn't come as any surprise to me because, and I don't want to delve into this too deeply, but if you're following someone, right? If you're following a trader, unless you take every trade that trader takes, unless he tells you every trade that he's taking, you're in big danger of cherry picking, as you have done, the wrong trades, because a trader's performance is not based on 4 trades a week or whatever the case may be. A trader's performance is based on how he A, managed those trades, but B, the rest of the trades that he took. So, or she took. So out of maybe took 10 trades, right? And you took 4 of them and every single one of them lost. Yet he's had a great week because he had 6 winners and they were all 4-1.
Yeah.
So my point, as I said, I don't want to delve into it too much. My point is just and I think Lloyd says it most definitively and beautifully. I can't remember the words that he uses, but he says, take advice from traders or take something from them, but don't necessarily. I don't know. I can't think of it.
But it is succinct and beautiful when Lloyd
Thursday. It absolutely is. It's his little mantra he's got up on his ID when he comes up on Zoom.
Oh right, okay, that's good. Yeah.
I can't remember what it is exactly, as you just found out, but it is very, very.
Do you know what's also quite interesting about what you're saying, John, about that wave, right? If you just saw it through, is that I've been speaking to Paul recently about what's been going on with the wave rider, and because we are in this horrible rangy market, it's been having issues. You know, it's not quite kind of getting there.
What was I going to say? I do have something to add there. I've ummed and ahed about this for months. I thought, well, look, you've only been in this game 5 minutes. Keep your mouth shut. But I will say it now. Is that in the first couple of months of Wave Rider, back last year, just as the pandemic was, getting underway, the Wave Rider then was obviously, you're going to win and lose, but it was easier to see.
Yeah.
And then it just got harder and harder and harder and harder to actually see it. And I thought, is it just me? Is it harder now because it's the time of the year? And I thought, well, this pandemic's got to be having some of it, because I was watching my favorite game is on FinViz. Yeah. Have you ever seen? It's just like the line, because Jeff said, he follows it. I was following that, and it was like tennis. It was like Forex tennis. The dollar would be over here, and then next day it'd be over here, and then it was like ping pong. All these things.
I think this is the thing: is you see, if you trade through these periods, and then this is the point I was making to Paul, is that at some point this thing is going to break, and it's probably going to break quite significantly because we've been in this range for a while. So if you continue to trade in the right way, then it'll come good in the end. But this period is going to lose a lot of people, because there's going to be a lot of people that are getting frustrated by it, and just But the other thing that's notable about this is that if we agree and accept that the market does have cyclicality, and seasonality and everything else, markets are cyclical, stocks are cyclical, sectors are cyclical. Inevitably, strategies are also cyclical. So we will see sort of like a point where it's time to pull the trigger on that one. But there might be another point where you just have to, you're going to have to switch positions. And unless we understand the spreadsheet and what that's churning out, where we are in the year, is the wave rider better for the Aussie in January to March, and then we're better off trading it with the yen? Things like that are things that we can effectively ask our spreadsheet and understand.
Totally.
But this is the thing about the process. We really need to kind of get down with the math side of it. And I think we're probably all guilty of it when we kind of start trading, that we go with taking trades on information that we don't really have enough of yet. But if we're going to be better at this, we need to ask better questions and get better information.
Yeah, I mean, I know that if I can keep it together, don't explode, don't do what's the word? Yeah, it'll come back to me. I think this is probably, I could be wrong, is quite a hard time to trade.
It's only a trend trader.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
If I can get through this, I know that I'll be successful going down the line. So that was my that's what I've learned with it. So
we've actually been in that phase for a long time now. ATRs have diminished substantially, which makes it tougher intraday to trade, because you've only got this much available to you versus this much available to you, because it's only got that much movement, and that makes it a lot tougher than it used to be. I remember when I first started, well, not when I first started, probably 2 or 3 years after I first started, the markets were just so good. Euro dollar was just so predictable. Every day you'd rock up to work being trading. For me, then I was trading full time. And you just rock up to work, sit in front of the chart for about 10 minutes. There's the setup, place the trade. You're in it for 10 minutes, job's done, go and have a beer. And I'm not joking. Yeah. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
It was so damn easy. You didn't win them all, right? But it was like shelling peas. And it's a lot tougher now because of algorithms, because of quants, because of all sorts of things, pandemics and Trumps and, wars or rumors of wars. And I'm talking about trade wars, not physical wars. There's something going on just about all, and there probably always was from a fundamental point of view. I didn't take that much notice, to be honest. But if you don't these days, you're probably going to finish up in a deep hole.
I think the other thing as well, isn't it, mate, that you need to understand how you are trading strategy, and because you go through periods. I go through periods where I trade my approach really, really well, and then I just trade it really, not really badly, but I don't trade it as well as I should, and I have to recognize that in myself and go, okay, what's going on? Why aren't I in the right headspace right now? Why do I keep coming out a bit early? Why do I keep entering too early? Why, maybe seeing the wrong thing. And as I say, it's not necessarily trading the approach wrong, but it's just when but somewhere in there. But what mistakes am I making somewhere in there? Where am I mentally? And understanding where that is going on is also really important.
Well, so we also go through cycles, right?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, we do.
Our emotions change from day to day, much less from week to week, much less from year to year. It's no mystery that some days we rock up to work, stuff the charts, I don't want to know about them.
Yeah,
because you've just kicked the cat or something like that. I don't know. Any reason you might be just in a down spot, and that's tough. That's tough trading when you're doing that, because believe it or not, positive thoughts get positive results, similar to negative thoughts, and that's a cycle as well.
Yeah,
we all live in cycles. There's nothing mysterious about it.
Well, and overconfidence as well, isn't it, mate? I mean, that's another sort of like thing that you have to always recognize. Are you getting a bit too kind of comfortable and confident in your system, and not correctly doing it right? So, yeah, I mean, I think understanding the process and really approaching this mathematically, robotically, and mechanically is the best way to make money. It's not necessarily the only way, but or maybe it is, but I'd say it's the best way to make money. And really the only way we can get to that point, that's the utopian point, is by understanding the numbers.
Yeah.
Yep. No argument from me.
Okay, mate. Well, thanks for that, though, John. I think it's
great. I get my own counselling session.
Yeah. Well,
for people listening to it, I don't mind talking about my I wouldn't say mess ups, but the things that go right or wrong.
Yeah, well, I think this is the thing, as Jeff says, we all have them because we are human, and we're constantly evolving, and we have like all these things going on in our mind. But I think, just from a personal perspective, forgetting whether it's to do with trading or not, if you can get that part of your life right, where you are good at reflecting, and you've got a process of how to reflect and how to note down and how to improve your thought process, then you're probably in a better place to start trading than other people that have got great technique, because it is probably 70% mental and psychological than it is about technique.
Well, but you got to have them both. You got to have them both.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do, for sure. Anyway, we are. I think that is the end of our week, and we will be waiting on data from the US and from the EU later on. Lewis, can you enlighten what's going on with cotton seasonality for gold in June and August? Have this thought: gold or silver, just buy some at this level or lower if possible. Lock it up and forget about it for 3 years. I mean, there's no doubt that would be a process that would be valid, in my opinion. So I can't give you financial advice, but it's something that I would concur to or subscribe to myself. But I think you want to do that with quite a few of your assets in a way. I feel the same about cryptocurrencies. I think cryptocurrencies are potentially going lower. But the question is it all over? And if you don't believe it's all over, then then you wait for the next big run to the upside, which will probably happen, you know, within the next 3 years. So I think it's a good approach personally, Lewis. I think being aware that that some things just need time to breathe and progress is probably a better approach than constantly meddling, you know, constantly trading in and trading out of something. There's certain things that we just have to say, okay, well, maybe they are the bedrock of what we're doing. And I was talking to somebody about their portfolio quite recently. They were telling me about the property, you know, how much property they've got. And they were saying to me, you know, what kind of thing should I buy next? And I said to them, really, you need to analyze what you've got now and try and build your portfolio around that. Because if the property market all of a sudden collapsed, what could you have in there that would hedge out the risk? So if you go and buy some gold, or if you've got some stocks, then having some gold in there and forgetting it for 3 years, I think would be quite wise. I'm going to quickly show you this COT data so you can have a look, and then we'll probably wrap it then. There we go. Oops. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Right, so COT data on gold. There's gold there. Let's have a look at the seasonals. So we are in June now. It looks like one little dip, which is maybe what was going on right now, but one little dip sort of around about the middle of June, and then we see a bull run with gold, and it looks like the most significant bull run of the year. This is more extreme, but this one does seem to last the longest, right the way through, if you like, right the way through until till December, but a decent run right the way through till October. With gold and silver. Actually, looks like silver could be a little bit weaker seasonally. Silver gets a little bit weaker up until July, and then that's when we see the real move in silver. And it looks like the really parabolic move is towards the end of December, January time. But again, looks like a decent run up until October if you manage to pick some up in July, or, you know, as you say, here or maybe a little bit lower. Gold looks like a slightly better timing than silver at this stage. And the COT data. Index is at 33, so nothing particularly significant there. Let's have a look at the buying and selling. Sellers came off. This is gold. Sellers are weakening a bit. I mean, you couldn't really garner too much from the COT data. Looks relatively benign with the COT data. So that kind of says if you get a pattern, go with the pattern. Go with the technicals, because the you know, what's under the hood isn't really sort of showing us a lot. Silver. Let's have a look. I mean, it's come off this extreme. It's nowhere, is it? I mean, I'd say that's relatively near the average. Looks like the buying has maybe come back in a bit. So COT data is not telling us a whole bunch. It's a little bit weak, but really the COT data is just saying we aren't really worried at the price movement at this stage. They're not kind of hedging an extreme one way or the other. That's really what the COT data is kind of suggesting at the minute. So yeah, maybe take your technical patterns, probably would be fine. Right, let's wrap it up anyway, mate. It's the end of the week, and it's time to go and have a beer for you and for me to recover somewhat and get over this tiredness. And
don't forget the pick the euro. What are you going for this week?
Oh, where it closes?
Yep.
We should have done that at the start of the week, shouldn't we? Let me see what I've got. Euro. There it is. Okay. Oh yes, because I'm thinking strong dollar. So I'm going to go for 119.
I got 120.50.
Okay. I'm going for a big move down. I'm going for 119. Probably a little bit too much, but yeah, 119 by tomorrow. Big move down.
All right, happy days.
Okay.
And that competition can be entered with the link that Angel has put in the chat box. So don't forget to get into that. There's a $50 voucher available for those, or for that person who gets it right, or I think nearest to it. You don't have to get it on the button. Thank you, John. Much appreciated, mates. Ash, for being our trading buddy, and of course my trading buddy. And we'll catch up with you next week at the very same time as usual. And everyone in the room, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Angel, for being our custodian, I'll put it that way, and keeping us on the straight and narrow and on air, which is sometimes not that easy to do. Have a great weekend, everyone.